Hello everyone, I am Namrazi Sedik and I was assigned to discuss a third step of decision making by Matthew Confer. Here's our intended learning objectives. Number one, we will define Matthew Confer's third step in decision making, and that is to know the basics. Second, we will discuss the importance of knowing the basics before deciding. After knowing the first two steps, such as before we decide, let us first challenge the constraints to allow us to think big and think better. Next is to embrace a pre-mortem to mitigate for potential mistakes and better formulate the correct course of action. Now, what is the next step? Obviously, as I said a while ago, the next or third or the last step is to check or know basics before deciding on a big and complex matter. So, what is this? Basically, this is to ensure that small details don't prevent us from accomplishing amazing things because sometimes, as what Mr. Confer said, when decisions get more complex, small details rather than the grandiose or big parts tend to get missed. He kind of observed that a lot of leaders or organizations that he encountered across the globe, they sometimes failed from a certain matter because they tend to miss the small details upon arriving in their decision. Like for example, the NASA mission to study the climate of Mars failed because one of the teams uses the metric system and the other team working on the same project does their measurements in inches feet. This example was already elaborated by Miss the Gam Expert, and I hope you revisit or rewatch it for better understanding. Okay, now, what do you think is the importance of this step when making decision? If we don't check on basics or small things, negative outcomes will probably occur and this will ruin the entire project. Taking the time to make sure we have really identified the small details or basics are super important, such as we try to dig in, the more critical, intense, and complex the strategy becomes, the more likely it becomes that it's a small detail that trips us up. So as things become more complex, a small detail that tend to go through the cracks. Just like the NASA mission. They spent huge dollars behind it and ended up failing because they missed small details. They forgot to check that they're both using the same unit of measurement. This so it is this small detail that ruined them. In conclusion, if we already challenge the constraints and embrace a pre-mortem, then it is a must to not forget the basics or small things when deciding. Because if we did not, then we may accomplish the things we wanted. That is all for the third step in decision making. Once again, this is Namra Z Sedik, a blessed third year AB psychology students, and here's my references.